represented by the heroine of Monsieur Augier's drama, and whenever his attention rested upon a person of a florid style of attraction, there was the strongest probability that she would turn out a countess. The countesses often looked so unnaturally cheap, and the others unnaturally expensive. Littlemore distinguished at a glance. He never made mistakes. "Simply for looking at them, it doesn't matter, I suppose," Waterville ingenuously sighed. "You stare at them all alike," Littlemore went on, still without moving, "except, indeed, when I tell you they aren't decent. Then your eyes, my dear man, grow as large as saucers." "If your judgment's against this lady, I promise never to look at her again. I mean the one in the third box from the passage, in white, with the red flowers," the younger man said, as Littlemore slowly rose and stood beside him. "The fellow with her is leaning forward. It's he who makes me doubt. Will you have the glass?" Littlemore looked about him without concentration. "No, thank you. I can see without staring. The young man's a very good young man," he presently reported. "Very, indeed, but he's several years younger than she is. Wait till she turns her head." She turned it very soon. She apparently had been speaking to the ouvreuse at the door of the box, and presented her face to the public, a fair, harmonious face, with smiling eyes, smiling lips, a low brow ornamented with delicate rings of black hair, and ears marked by the sparkle of diamonds sufficiently large to be seen across the Théâtre Français. Littlemore looked at her, then started and held out his hand. "The glass, please." "Do you know her?" his friend asked as he directed the little instrument. He made no answer. He only looked in silence. Then he gave the glass back. "No, she's not respectable." And he dropped again into his seat. As Waterville remained standing, he added, "Please sit down. I think she saw me." "Don't you want her to see you?" pursued the interrogator, promptly complying. Littlemore hesitated. "I don't want to spoil her game." By this time the entr'acte was at an end and the curtain going up. It had been Waterville's idea that they should go to the theatre. Littlemore, who was always for not going anywhere, had recommended that, the evening being lovely, they should simply sit and smoke at the door of the Grand Café in comparatively pensive isolation. Nevertheless, Waterville enjoyed the second act even less than he had done the first, which he thought heavy. He began to wonder whether his companion would wish him to stay to the end, a useless line of speculation, for now that he had got to the theatre, Littlemore's aversion to change would certainly keep him from moving. Waterville also wondered what he knew about the lady in the box. Once or twice he glanced at his friend, and then was sure the latter wasn't following the play. He was thinking of something else. He was thinking of that woman. When the curtain fell again, he sat in his place, making way for his neighbors as usual to edge past him, grinding his knees — his legs were long — with their own protuberances. When the two men were alone in the stalls, he spoke. "I think I should like to see her again after all." He spoke, in fact, as if Waterville might have known all about her. Waterville was conscious of not doing so, but as there was evidently a good deal to know, he recognized he should lose nothing by exerting some art. So for the moment he asked no question. He only said, "Well, here's the glass." Littlemore gave him a glance of good-natured compassion. "I don't mean I want to keep letting that off at her. I mean I should rather like to see her as I used to." "And how did you used to?" asked Waterville, with no art now. "On the back piazza at San Pablo." And as his comrade, in receipt of this information, only stared, he went on, "Come out where we can breathe, and I'll tell you more." They made their way to the low and narrow door, more worthy of a rabbit hutch than of a great theatre, by which you pass from the stalls of the Comédie to the lobby; and as Littlemore went by first, his ingenuous friend behind him could see that he glanced up at the box in the occupants of which they were interested. The more interesting of these had her back to the house. She was apparently just leaving the box, after her companion. But as she